Hello, Youth in Government. I'm Phaedra Neitzel, and this is KYNG TV's Why Witness News. Earlier this morning, reporter Alexis Georgeson went to the press conference for the Honorary Governor Paul Gardner III, discussing the latest education bills from Senate and Assembly.
I'm here in the governor's office in the Capitol, about to meet the Honorary Paul Gardner III and ask him some important questions pertaining to bills on education from Senate and Assembly. Governor, I know you stress the importance of education in California, but then why would you not support a 5% pay raise for teachers?
As I believe right now it is still active in the House, and I am against it. Basically, I am very for education, and I do want to see teachers paid more because I think that they deserve more, but I do not believe that this bill is the right solution to the problem, because as it stands, a lot of California's budget, percentage-wise, is automatically allocated to the education system. No one has a say in that, and the problem with that is it doesn't take into account the actual state of California's budget on a year-to-year basis. And so who's to say when we're in California's in a budget crisis that we still need to increase all these teachers' salaries if they meet this criteria? I believe that the criteria itself is very vague and time-consuming and gets in the way of teachers actually doing their job. And what would happen, say, if a teacher were to qualify for this pay raise one year and not the next year? They still get to keep that 5% bonus forever, even if they start underperforming. And so I am in favor of teachers being paid for, but this bill really would just tie up our budget system even more and is not the correct solution.
Right. You really stress the importance of education as well as nutrition in the school systems. For the State Board of Education to provide healthier food choices for students, would this affect the budget of school systems in any way?
In any way, yes, it would, because they would stop buying foods of little to no nutritional value and serving that to our students, and instead buying food that will improve the health and quality of students and overall California population. In the beginning, we're going to experience rough transition, especially with food services, as they try and determine what fits under foods of nutritional value, but in the end, I do believe that the student's health comes first, and we should be looking at that more than the bottom line.
Thank you, Paul Gardner III, for sharing your views with the delegates.
Governor, SB 218 is ready for you to sign.
Thank you, Secretary Jones. SB 218, dealing with the Safety Surrender Baby Law, has passed unanimously in committee and both houses, and I am proud to sign it into law.
For those interested in keeping up to date with the status of YNG bills, make sure to register your cell phone with the new text messaging system. Here's Sydney Fong with the full report.
So Mike, what is the SMS messaging service?
The SMS messaging service is a free service provided by my office. We want to make sure that all delegates and advisors can know where their bills are at any given time. It's really going to be helpful, especially to advisors that want to see their delegates speak on their bills. It's going to send them a text message as soon as it moves from the committee, then into a Senate, and then into one of the assemblies, and also as it moves up in the docket.
Can you tell me how the system works?
Well, basically, after the bills have been passed through a committee or a Senate or an assembly, they get sent to my office. This has been going on for years. But the only difference is now we're going to enter them into this new program, the SMS docket system. Here, after we enter it in, real time, as soon as we enter it in, a text message is sent out to all the people that signed up for that bill.
How did this idea come about?
One of the advisors here at Youth in Government actually went to the other program, KONA. It was at KONA they do a similar system to allow people to know when they speak. He thought it'd be a great idea for this program, so we decided through my office to implement this.
Perfect. How do you feel that this instant notification helps delegates?
It's going to help delegates and advisors. It's going to help anyone who wants to see their friends speak out on the floor. As they're notified as to the docket, they're going to be able to run over to their senates or assemblies and actually see their friends speak. This is going to be really nice because in the past years you've had to sit either through the entire Senate or Assembly session, or you've had to guess and quite possibly miss it. So we're really hopeful that it's going to let more people see more of the program.
What's your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part about my job is really my undersecretaries. Honestly, they're the greatest people I have. They do all my work for me. Not all of it, I swear. You voted for the right guy, but they helped me so much. I couldn't make this office run at all without them.
Thanks for that message, Sydney. The Special Investigative Panel is a program that was added to Youth in Government last year. This afternoon, reporter Stephanie Pittman caught up with the committee chairs to find out what it's all about.
The SIP works to come up with suggestions to solve some of the problems that are facing California today. This year, the SIP is split up into 3 panels. I'm here with the 3 SIP committee chairs. So, what exactly is SIP?
SIP is a program that focuses on problems that specifically relate to California. My panel is childhood obesity.
My panel is sustainable growth.
And my panel is energy policy.
So what are some of the things you guys have come up with in your committees?
Childhood obesity, we have found, is a nutritional and physical activity type of problem among our youth, and we're looking for problems for the future that will help this epidemic.
Sustainable growth is basically us trying to find out what the problems of California are right now and how to fix it, fixing infrastructure, improving quality of life, etc.
The Energy Policy Panel is developing and researching new ideas for alternative energy sources so we don't have to depend on foreign energy.
Great, thanks guys. After talking with the committee chairs, I headed up to the SIP room on the 7th floor, where the delegates were working hard to organize all their information. The research they have compiled is put into reports that are to be submitted to the governor tomorrow morning. And that's the SIP program. Back to you, Phaedra.
Thank you, Stephanie, for that special investigation. Who are those delegates walking around with the bright blue badges? They are none other than our very own school board members. But what do they really do? Reporter Carissa Shea gets the inside scoop.
It's a program that goes unnoticed by most delegates. But why is that? Earlier today, I investigated what really goes on in the school boards. The Board of Education deals with controversial issues that directly affects us delegates, along with all of California's youth.
The Board of Education is sort of a side program in YNG. We take about 50 kids and we split them up into 6 or 7 task force groups. They write up a 7-page proposal over the course of 3 days and present it on Sunday. The proposal either has to do with specific schools or the entire California education program. This year they're focusing on violence in schools and how to change that.
So as an observer, what do you think of the program?
It's a great program. All the people in it are really nice. They get their work done. It just seems like a really neat program. I like what they do.
So what are you thinking of doing next year?
I'm thinking about this program, absolutely. It's, like I said before, it's a great program.
What is your guys' topic?
Our topic is on gossip, bullying, and hazing.
Right. So what is your group doing to try and fix this problem in our schools?
Well, we're trying to instill a program that's going to start from 6th grade and go through 10th grade, that it's going to be mandatory for every student to take, and it's going to be 3 days a week. It's going to be like a class, and the other days of the week they'll have study hall. And it's going to be just like a bonding type of class, but it's progressive throughout the year. So like the beginning starts with like friendship and self-confidence, and there's going to be another self-confidence round later, because that's really important once you get into high school and once you start junior high type of things. And it's like acceptance, and then it like there's going to be, it's like a safe center, and the room's going to be all chill and relaxed with like sofas and whatnot. Candles. And incense and candles. And it's supposed to just teach acceptance and that everybody is unique and deal with it type of thing, and that gossip's bad, bullying's bad, hazing's bad. We're instituting a 0 tolerance for hazing, because that's generally a high school problem that there is, and if they haze on sports teams, they get kicked out for the season. And that's pretty much it.
I hear that you guys have a quote from our governor about this. Would you like to share?
Sure. As long as you can envision the fact that you can do something, you can do it. As long as you really believe it 100%. And we kind of just feel it sums everything up. Like if you do everything, you can get it done if you believe it.
So, in general, how are you guys liking Board of Education?
I like it a lot,
it's fun.
actually.
Yeah,
I came into it kind of nervous about not knowing,
skeptic.
But yeah, really,
because it kind of applies to us in real life, which is nice.
Yeah, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, same here.
Great, thank you. This is Carissa Shea, White Witness News. Have a good one.
While many delegates have only visited the Capitol building by staring out the window, senators and assemblymen make it a habit to leave early to beat the lethargic process of passing through security. Here's Melissa Hansen covering the inside scoop on our Senate and assemblymen.
Hi, I'm here with youth Speaker of Assembly, Amy Razzo.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. So, how are sessions running today?
They're running very smoothly. I only had one today, and it got out right on time, and they're going really well. They're being very respectful. We're getting a lot of really enthusiastic speakers, and I really couldn't ask for anything more.
Great. In your opinion, does the location help, or does it make them feel more engaged to speak on bills?
I think so. I definitely think so. You know, in the convention center, it's not as an exciting atmosphere. You're kind of sitting in just, folding chairs. There's a podium and a few chairs up front. But when you're in the chambers and it's just lighted differently and delegates have their own individual desk, and I mean, it's a beautiful atmosphere. I think it might motivate them a little bit more, get them a little bit more excited, and hopefully influence them to participate.
Okay. While sitting in session, I know you heard a lot of bills. Which one stood out the most to you?
Well, there have been a lot of really great bills, and we've had a lot of really, really close calls between whether it passes or fails. Off the top of my head today, there was a bill about euthanasia and assisted suicide. I was really impressed by it. The speaker was very well prepared, and it produced a really, really controversial debate, which is what I really hope for, not so much whether a bill passes or fails, but how strong of a debate and how much participation is on both for and against. And it was very impressive, and I was just impressed by the speakers and the participants that are also in the assembly.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm here with Jeremiah Chambers. Hi, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
In your opinion, how well are sessions running today?
Sessions are running actually very, very well. We finally got into the swing of things, and I definitely think that we're passing bills at a pretty high rate. There's been a lot of debate inside the chambers, and I'm really happy with the way it's going.
So how are they using parliamentary procedure?
They're doing pretty good. There's been a couple of outbursts. The peanut butter and jelly song came up once, and it really threw a lot of things off, but it came to order pretty fast. And I think that everyone's catching on to parliamentary procedures pretty well, so I'm very proud of them.
How do you feel the location, like whether you're in the chambers or the convention center, how do you think that affects the delegates?
Well, it's kind of an imagery thing. I mean, as far as when you see these posters or you see these oil paintings in the back, or the flag, or all the colors, the decorum of the room, I think it really does affect the mind state of the senators or the assemblymen or whoever else you're talking about, kind of taking them a little more serious.
Yeah. In session, I know you heard a lot of bills being going on. Which one stuck in your mind the most? Which was the most impressive?
I couldn't really say. I would really be lying if I said that this bill stood out above all the rest. I think that the bills that were highly debatable is the ones I truly love, the ones where we actually have division. And it's a true call for division. We actually have to have a head count. Those are the ones that stick in my mind. One bill that I thought was good, that did not pass, though, was a foster care reform bill, which was a good bill, which you could look up. But it didn't pass, but it was highly debatable, and everyone had a chance to say what they wanted to say, and I felt like an entire body was represented. And that's really what it was here. That's why we're here, not really to pass bills or to fail bills, but really to come together into our democracy.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and hopefully more bills are passed.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm here with Senators
Schlanger
and Blake.
Hi, so how do you feel your sessions are running today?
Sessions have been fun. It's a little slow. I've been working on these Sudokus the whole times, or Sudokus.
How about you?
Session's a bit boring, but we're getting through it, so it's all right.
What is your favorite part about being the Senate?
I love speaking on bills and hearing people what they have to say. I spoke on a bill today about condoms. I thought that was really interesting.
I like how some of the debates get really heated. That's it.
So do you feel there's like a kind of like a rivalry between Gold Senate and Blue Senate?
Definitely Blue Senate is way better than Gold.
There's no rivalry because Gold Senate is better, so.
Okay, well, that's it here. Thanks, guys. Hi, I'm here with Assemblywoman
Roz Tagipur.
Sydney Schoenberg.
Hi girls, how are you doing today?
Good.
How are your sessions been running?
They've been really fun. Just like it's just like when we have really interesting bills and everyone gets really heated in the debates and stuff, that's when it's actually like really interesting, and we've had a lot of those. So.
Yeah, there's been a lot of bills where people get really into it and everyone starts like debating and conversing a lot about it, and it gets really interesting. There's not really a lot of dull moments when stuff like that happens. The bills have gotten really interesting and everyone's gotten really into them.
What would you say is your favorite part about being in the assembly?
Well, I think what most people don't like about, like, for example, being a lobbyist or anything like that is you can't really speak, you can't really ask questions. I mean, you have your time to go up and say whatever you need to say, but unlike assemblymen or people in the Senate, like, we can actually ask questions and, you know, get things clarified or give our opinion and try to, you know, really understand the bill.
Yeah, I like the fact that we have a say in what happens a lot when we get to go up and talk about a bill and basically why we're for it or why we're not for it. We have a really big say, and I think it makes a lot of difference being an assemblywoman.
Would you say that the location makes a difference on, like, whether people talk more or what?
What do you mean location? Like?
Whether being in the chambers or the convention center.
Yeah, definitely. In the convention center, everyone's a lot more laid back. And then the Capitol, where, you know, it's obviously because we're in the presence of, you know, like where it's actually done. So it's completely different.
Yeah, definitely. I think in the convention center, everyone sees it more as like an informal take, and everyone's kind of just hanging out because we're all closer together and there aren't microphones. So everyone's kind of more informal with each other and more closer and just kind of laid back, where when we're in the Capitol building, everyone's spread out and like there's more of a centered attention on who's speaking because they have to speak in front, and everyone's kind of more laid out and they have their set position. It's a lot more formal.
Well, while you're sitting through all these bills, these heated debates and things, which bill happened to be the most memorable, like the one that stood out the most?
There was one bill that was actually passed, and everyone was really like on the fence about it because it was the bill about being able to get assisted suicide, and I think that stood out the most just because a lot of people were going up there and standing up and talking about like personal things that they've been through, you know, and but I do think that it was good that it was passed because it is really like an important bill.
Well, for me, this bill didn't pass, but it was about a requirement to get tested on certain STDs and AIDS in order to graduate high school, and that became a really, really big talked about bill just because we're all teenagers and we're high schoolers and it affects us significantly, and so everyone had different personal stories about it and personal reflections upon it, and it got into like a really big discussion because we're all really affected by it and we all have our different stories, and it ended up not passing by a really close amount, but it was really, really interesting to see everyone's intake on that.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and good luck.
Thank you.
The long-anticipated decision of which delegates will be representing the California delegation at the Conference on National Affairs will be announced Sunday evening at the Governor's Banquet. After Bob 2, delegates from across the state have had the opportunity to apply for CONA. Those chosen to participate will come together to debate and change national and international legislation. In order to be considered, delegates must have turned in their completed applications on time. Returning applicants are given preference, although all are not allowed to return. The California delegation tries to be as diverse as possible, taking into consideration the sex of the applicant, their ethnicity, and their geographic location. Applicants are also reviewed by their program advisors. Jasmine Menard has the latest scoop on what makes CONA so special and one of the most important events of youth in government.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Menard, and I'm here to interview some former CONA delegates to find out what it's all about. What is CONA? What do you do?
CONA is the Conference on National Affairs. It's in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. It's set up sort of like the NIC, except that it takes delegates from every single state that wishes to participate, and it's amazing.
Yes, like what Wallace said, it's much like the NIC program in Youth in Government. You write your own proposal, and it's pretty much your baby for 10 days, you write your speech, and you work harder than, you know, you've ever worked in your life, but, you know, it's the best experience that you'll ever have, so.
And what's your favorite part of Kona?
My favorite part of Kona, the reason I really want to go is because I love to speak on proposals and talk about different issues, but the best part and probably the most beneficial was the relationships that I made during the trip. I spent 10 days with 24 other amazing people, and that has stayed with me till this day.
My favorite part was traveling with the delegation and getting to know everyone and learning about the different viewpoints of the different states.
My favorite part is, I mean, you get to meet so many people from so many other states. Like, it's really, really diverse there, but it really, like, the best part was bonding with all the California kids because we take a pre-trip too. So for like 2 weeks, all you do is hang out with them nonstop, and you're honestly like a family. And Pam's kind of like our mom. It's great.
Enjoy meeting other people from across the country. Instead of in youth and government, where I have great friends from, you know, all over California, I now have great friends from all over the United States.
Well, there you have it. Kona is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This has been Jasmine Menard with YNG TV.
An explosion in a karaoke bar near a Philippine Army camp on southern Jolo Island has left at least 20 people wounded Saturday night. American troops are residing in the Army camp for joint war exercises, but U.S. military spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Mark Zimmer said there were no American casualties. The blast has prompted a complete investigation of the camp, considering previous American kidnappings by al-Qaeda guerrillas. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez has threatened to stop oil exports to the United States if the Bush administration goes too far and attempts to destabilize his left-leaning government. President Chavez made his threat after U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice stated that the Venezuelan government's ties to Cuba are a huge problem to democracy in Latin America. Chavez has made previous threats of cutting off oil exports to America, but this is the first time he has made contacts with other oil buyers. In Lagos, Nigeria, Nigerian militants have launched attacks on the world's 8th largest oil exporter and abducted 9 foreign workers, as well as attacking at least 2 other facilities. The militants from the Movement for the Emancipation of the Niger Delta said they were targeting all oil pipelines, production platforms, and export terminals in Delta State. The Shell oil facility, also in Delta State, was attacked and set on fire, as well as a local pipeline. In recent Olympic news, American Shawnee Davis became the first black individual in the world to win a gold medal in Winter Olympic history, taking the men's 1,000-meter speed skating race. In other Olympic news, the battle between the U.S. and Swedish women hockey teams went into overtime after a 2-2 tie after the U.S. initially had a 2-0 lead. The U.S. lost to Sweden by a close 3-2 after the sudden death overtime round. Be prepared, youth and government, for a couple more days of cold weather. Today's high was 49 and the low is 34. There will be light rain and partly cloudy skies. Sunday will begin with some morning showers with a high of 52 and a low of 31. As you return home on Monday, there will be a mostly sunny sky with a warmer high of 58 but a low of 29. On a lighter note, last night's Governor's Ball proved to be the hottest place in Sacramento, literally. Tonight is also the special show by a famous hypnotist, so stop by and make sure to be hypnotized. Tomorrow evening is the Governor's Banquet, so dress to the nines and have a great time. Don't forget to vote tonight for the Governor and Secretary of State candidates. The polls open at 6 p.m. at the Convention Center. I'm Phaedra Neitzel. This is KYNG TV Eyewitness News. You stay classy, Sacramento.